How cola, brothers and sisters. Welcome to AquaBrain TV. On this show, we're going to talk communities, informal settlements, and Rooster Crow with Miles Nowlin. Coming to us somewhere in the Southwest USA. You can find Rooster Crow on Bandcamp. That's right, Rooster Crow on Bandcamp. Miles, dude, it's been a few months.
I know.
How you
been? It's been way too long.
It has.
I've been up and down, but right now I'm up. So
awesome.
Yeah, you caught me on a good day.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
it is good. Life is good.
It is definitely a roller coaster these days. You gotta. Gotta keep your keep positive, stay positive, right? Look towards the future.
Yeah, find those positive outlets, those, healthy coping mechanisms, and just continue to live in the time of COVID to the best that you can.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's it's a
whatever
time.
else is going on. Global climate catastrophe and,
yeah.
migration catastrophe, all these things.
Yeah. No kidding. That's happening. That's all that stuff.
So many things.
So many things. And on a positive note, let's see.
Oh yeah, I'm having a great day. It's a good day.
Yeah, let's talk about your summer. What was I know you spent some time in Wyoming, I think.
Yeah, so I worked as a backpacking instructor for Knolls, Northern Outdoor Leadership School.
Cool.
And it was a 30-day expedition with a group of high school students, 2 other adult instructors in the Wind River Range. Which is up there in like Western Wyoming.
Wow.
Pretty remote. And beautiful. I'd never spent much time in the Wind Rivers. It's a pretty like less traveled wilderness area in the country, and it's terrible. Never go there. You don't want to go to the Wind Rivers. There's nothing to see.
Yeah, one of those places.
One of those places. No, it's quite stunning, and it's worth checking out. And there was a period of 10 days on that 30-day trip 12 days where we didn't see one other person.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was pretty spectacular.
That's good for your soul right there.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah.
How about wildlife?
Let's see. We didn't see a ton of wildlife like to report, back. Nope. We didn't see any bears, or anything like that. We did do a bunch of fly fishing though.
Okay. Cool.
Which was pretty cool. Something I had never done before, but now am like feeling really jazzed about.
Cool.
So like we got to pull some, what were they? Brook trout out of the creeks. Yeah. And it's fun because it's kind of like point and shoot as opposed to, bob and sinker, where you're just sitting there waiting for time to pass. There was a lot of
the skill. And it's a little relaxing too, I think.
Yeah, it was relaxing. It was a good way to like get up early, avoid the 12 teenagers for about an hour because that was part of the deal. There were 12 teenagers with me for this 30-day thing. It was like, so yeah, those fly fishing mornings were precious.
Was you just catch and release, or were you?
No, we had license to catch and kill. Is that how you say that?
Well, I mean, did you eat them?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Because they were probably delicious if they're.
Yeah, we ate them, and it was a good thing because some of the rations were a little iffy on the protein side.
Oh, really?
Yeah, me and a lot of the kids got pretty skinny.
Oh, but you were already skinny, so
I know I'm already skinny. So I was like, "Is he okay?"
Are you guys comparing rib cages and stuff?
Some of the boys were, because boys on these big backpacking trips, boys lose more weight. They tend to lose more weight. And girls often gain a little weight, which is interesting.
Weird.
So was it like a metabolic thing? But
was it like a unisex thing or
a unisex? I think it was two sexes.
Well,
girls and boys.
What I say? I don't want to. Hey, we are fully inclusive here on AquaBrain chat. We will.
Of course we are. No, when you said unisex, I thought of like a unisuit or something.
Well, like a one size fits all.
Yeah. Anyway, my brain's going in all kinds of directions now.
Dude.
No.
It's only the middle of the day,
girls.
Miles.
There were boys and girls, even split, 6 boys, 6 girls. And yeah, it was great. It was a good trip. But yeah, going back to the protein, there was one day where us instructors got to hike alone. Like the kids were on their own, like learning how to navigate and stuff. And we stayed behind and fished in the creek for about 3 hours and just cooked up fish tacos, like right there.
Awesome.
On the side of the creek in this beautiful, majestic, Wind River mountain scenery, and got to camp like close to dark. And the kids were like, "We've been here for 4 hours." You're like, yeah, it's cool. We were fishing.
Yeah. Wow, man. That's awesome. You got to come up here, man. We'll go fly fishing.
Yeah. So I hear, I would love that. I hear, the fly fishing in Idaho is awesome. So yeah, I would love to come up there and swing through on my way back to Olympia on one of these trips.
Yeah, for sure. So I was going to ask you one more thing about that. So were those kids, the kids wanted to be there? It wasn't like troubled kids need to get out of the city kind of a thing. It was, they actually wanted to be there.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So Knolls is not a therapy program. It's either kids and adults who pay or get a scholarship. And it's an international school. There's trips in Patagonia. There's trips in New Zealand, Alaska, and it's a school. Like you can go there and do like a semester and get credits and things like that. But yeah, it's not your outdoor therapy, where sometimes, particularly in places like Utah, there's like some strange laws where these companies can do like kind of terrible things to kids, like hog time, drag them out of their house in the middle of the night and put them in the woods for 9 months. Like, it's crazy.
Whoa.
There's like this spectrum of like crazy on the outdoor therapy.
Yeah.
There's some that aren't so crazy. They're a little more grounded in, like, I don't know, research or something.
Or, hey, these kids are paying money, or their parents are paying money, and they actually want to be there. So was this something kids that was like a
mostly
was this the first time that you worked for them, or was this are you going to work for them more, you think? Or
it is the first time I worked for Knolls. I've done other trips similar to this over the last 20 years or so with a company out of near Durango, Colorado, called Deer Hill Expeditions, and that's a different outfit. It's unique in its own ways, but with Knolls, I do want to keep working for them, particularly probably less. That's probably the last time I'll do a 30-day backpacking trip ever again, even for work. Yeah. I showed up and was like, holy shit, what did I, it's day 6. Like, what the fuck did I get myself into? But anyway, so yeah, I'm going to try to do more of the rock climbing instruction.
That's more up your alley.
It's for where I'm at in life, it's more of my alley, and they're shorter programs and easier on the knees. Yeah.
30 days, dude.
Yeah.
That's a heavy backpack.
It was, yeah. And one of the reasons I did it this summer was like to get my foot in the door with Knolls, because you can do a lot with them.
Yeah.
And B, to actually, for selfish reasons, to really kind of reset my brain and my heart, and like clear all of the junk out
Very
after
cool.
a semester of working online, going to school online, living in a new city. I needed to get away from the office, and it worked. I did a lot of good, self-reflection.
Right on.
Yeah.
Right on. So you're doing you're in Latin American studies, right?
Yep.
Are you doing what's the program you're?
Yeah, you got it. I'm at the University of New Mexico in a graduate studies program in Latin American studies. Mm-hmm.
Do you have any like is it like pretty broad, or are you focusing on anything in particular?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the program itself is pretty open. It's very interdisciplinary. I can take classes with a lot of different departments, whether it's like archaeology or geography or planning. Most of the classes that I'm taking are in the community planning department, because my focus area is on environmental governance and community resilience,
Wow.
which is can be interpreted in a lot of different ways, and of course focused in the very large geography of Latin America.
Sure, that's
so yeah. So there's a lot of it's like up to me how I want to focus, mostly my thesis research, but also like which classes and seminars do I want to take, and how do those support, again, that like focus area of community resilience and governance.
Well, I think that's a huge very important subject, right?
It is. Yeah, it's one we're both interested
now.
in.
Yeah. And in fact, actually my bonus questions, I'm really excited about asking my bonus questions to you, but we're going to wait for a little bit. But I did wanted to, so now we're talking about, since we're talking about this, so you spent some time in the bog. I think it was called the bog, right?
Yeah.
Now, was that a commune per se, or what was that? What did they consider that?
A drinking community with an intentional problem. Did I say that on the last show I did?
I think so, but I wanted to hear you say it again.
No, I mean, I don't think it ever like really fell in like a clean category of like being an intentional community. Gotcha. Or like being a commune. Right. Because it was really just like its own messy thing. And like had its own personality and its own purpose and its own collective value style that, like, I don't know, I thought represented a lot of like messiness, but not necessarily in a bad way, in like a very experimental way.
like a boat in a tree.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, just like a boat in a tree.
But what I would say is that like that identity, I guess, that it has had when I was living there, was almost kind of like a refugee camp for people who, A, needed a cheap place to live, B, were willing to do some like work, banging nails and learning how to do things like weld or build log wall or rock wall, or anything you wanted. You could go to the owner at the time, and he would teach you like how to do those things in
cool.
order to expand, like, build an addition on your cabin, or how to refine waste vegetable oil so you could burn it in your diesel truck. Like, it was that kind of a scene. It was like a lot of people there didn't work full time. I certainly didn't, and so you could just fuck around and learn shit. And I can't remember if I'm supposed to not swear on YouTube.
No, it doesn't. I mean, this isn't for kids. It's not. We're not blowing balloon animals here. Unpacking, commerce.
Yeah.
But
so, anyways, I think you get what I'm saying. Like, and like the person who was there at the time, who was like the owner, kind of leader at the time, was like a magical person who had these skills to do things like lift like 2,000-pound boulders on top of a fireplace that we would then cement and mount in. Whoa. And like drilled his own well out of a wheel driller that he built himself. And awesome. So we called him the magician of leverage, because he could just leverage things. He could move big, crazy, like.
That's fascinating.
Backwoods kind of engineering,
Yeah. So I guess why I bring it up is I was wondering, just, and you don't have to go into a lot of detail, and obviously, I'm not fishing for anything in particular. I'm just wondering what worked in that situation and what didn't.
So I think, like, interestingly, what worked was like, so when you talk about community self-governance, it's like, I mean, it's similar to like the government of like a city or a country, right? So it's like, you could have like a very anarchistic, like, style of self-governance where everyone has an equal say and everyone has an equal share, or that's even kind of in like the co-op model of things, or you could have something that's actually what I would refer to more of like Leninist Marxist, like where you've got one person at the top and then you've got like a council that makes most of the decisions, which would be like the vanguard party or something like that. And then you've got like people who just like, kind of walk in step. I almost like see the blog as more of that. It's more of like a Cuba.
Oh, geez.
Like a really messy Cuba. Maybe I'm that's probably a bit of a stretch, but my point is that there was really one person who owned, well, there were two people because the property was split, right? So there are property owners who like had the final stamp, right? Who could make the final determination. And then there was like a core group of people who would come together once a month and meet, and were the ones who designed like the vision statement and the decision-making process, which I think was like consensus, and rules around things like paying dues, or if you didn't pay dues, volunteering in an hour of work. Sure. And then there was people who just never showed up, right? For whatever reason. And it's always hard to get people to volunteer and commit time to things. So it was kind of that structure, right? It was like this weird democracy, but in the end of the day, there was like one dictator,
right.
Two dictators who fought like crazy.
Oh, really? So that didn't work.
The dysfunction. The dysfunction was that too, was that like there was this power structure at the top. These guys were landlords. They fought all the time. There were neighborly disputes. There were family disputes. But I think what's important to, like, when you think about conflict in community, to not always think of it as a negative. The important like aspect of like communal living is that those conflicts come to the surface and then
get cleaned out.
And then get cleaned out and they're addressed. And that's actually how progress happens in communal and collective like living and decision making, right?
Huh.
So,
Yeah,
but yeah, anyways.
yeah, I mean, I don't want to I don't want to spend too much time on the old bog there. But I didn't Hey, you know what? It was cool. I really enjoyed visiting, man. The time that I came down there, it was awesome. You and
Yeah, and
you
again,
and
yeah,
Stu
it's
were
still
playing
there.
music and stuff, and it was awesome.
It's still there, and it serves an important purpose for like, you know, people, again, like people who need housing and need connection to
Yeah.
community and, you know, are bored.
All right, man. Well, hey, so Rooster Crow. How about an update on Rooster Crow? You guys
Oh yeah.
whatever happened with the GoFundMe?
Yeah, so we released a record in I think like February of 2021, something like that, March, I can't remember, less than a year ago, and we funded it through Kickstarter, where I was able to sell records, right, of the release. So I still have some vinyl copies. It was a short order, a small order.
Can people
Um,
reach out to you on Bandcamp
yeah,
and
for
get those
sure.
if they're into it?
Yeah, I was gonna see if maybe I had a copy. So I have one over there. But anyways, yeah, Bandcamp Rooster Crow, you can actually buy one of the last copies of the vinyl if you want. You can buy the CD, you can buy the downloads. You can certainly stream the record on Spotify and other platforms. And anyways, it's called Bajo Tigre. It's our second record. It's a little more rock, like alternative rock and roll, and alt country. Yeah, kind of more in line with like Uncle Tupelo and Wilco kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoy it. I got it in
Oh,
my CD
thanks.
player. I got you on my Spotify in my
Oh
liked
yeah.
songs. You got a handful of songs in there on my liked playlist, and I mean
Yeah.
it's really a good album. So if you like
Thanks.
that kind of music, or if you're interested, I'd highly suggest going and checking it out. Rooster
Yeah,
Crow.
cool. Yeah, thanks for the plug. I mean, it wasn't the best timing releasing the record right as I was starting grad school, and also during COVID, because I can't really afford to get out of here and tour with the band right now. However, it's available. It's being shared widely, and the good news is that the band is still we're still a committed, you know, group of friends and
It's
sharing
awesome.
art, you know, and so whenever all this stuff is over and people are available, we're going to definitely, I think, go on tour with this record, maybe even a new record.
Yeah,
um
I was gonna ask,
yeah.
did you guys? Because I know you played one show. I saw that advertised. I couldn't make it because of a little bit of a trip for me, but you guys did play one show, right?
We
Or have you
played
played
like
a
a
couple?
backyard kind of we played like a backyard like reunion kind of a
Okay.
thing. Yeah, I was back in Olympia in June and got everyone together, and we just like had a fire in this backyard and played acoustically to some friends,
Oh,
and it really felt good. It'd been a long
yeah.
time.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know what's gonna happen. Like, there's a good chance I'll be back in Olympia like next summer, and so I could see us like ramping things up again.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. You guys should think about Tree Fort in Boise, because I know
Okay.
that's a big music thing. They just wrapped it up, and I should have mentioned it to you last time. I don't know if I
Okay.
did or not, but uh, and I'm sure those sorts of things are not just unique to Boise, but
Is it a
uh,
festival or?
it's a music
Mm,
festival, yeah. And they
nice.
got um, I actually don't know how they did it this year, but they had stuff in parks, or they usually have stuff in parks and in all the
Hmm.
venues around town. And so
Hmm.
it's just like people buy a ticket and or an entry for a day, and they can go around and see different bands. And It's kind of a whole there's a big music community here in Boise.
Yeah, no, I have some friends that do tour through there. And it seems like that is true.
Of course, I mean, nowadays it's like, everything's a mess.
Yeah, I know.
Everything's a mess.
I know.
Would you want to, should we get on to the bonus questions? What do you think?
Sure. Yeah.
All right. These are going to be right up your alley. So I'm really excited about these. Let's get this over here. So my eye line. All right. Okay. So some of these you might have to think of a little bit outside the box, but I think it's like, it's a box you're in, I think.
All right, let me see if my AquaBrain can come up with some answers.
Right.
That's how I feel today.
Oh, geez. Well, hey, thanks for coming on. It's nice to have you on.
Yeah.
All right. So, what is a skill that you want to learn but haven't yet?
I think, I don't know. I've been thinking about piano lately. I've been thinking about using piano as a way to strengthen my songwriting. Can I say one more?
Of course. Yeah.
Okay. I want to be a filmmaker at some point in my life. Yeah. And I've done I made a music video last fall.
Yeah. We played it.
Yeah. With the help of my friend. And, yeah, I want to make a documentary film, like a really good one, that will like win festivals. You know what I mean?
Yeah, festival entry. So what are you thinking it's going to be about?
I don't know, but I am planning. So for my thesis work, I am planning to go to Puerto Rico and do some oral history interviewing with these people who live in this really radical community in San Juan, Puerto Rico. It's an informal settlement, and so I'm already planning to interview people and videotape their interviews and use those stories on like an interactive story map website. Awesome. That's going to be a big project, like in and of itself, like if we end up going that direction. But like, I think it would be cool if like, I don't know if this is possible, but like while I'm down there aside from the thesis, like work on a short documentary that could maybe be like a helpful product for the community themselves to like recruit more people into their programs. And they're doing really radical work organizing their community against like government austerity measures that are like closing their schools and terrible threats of like being displaced through gentrification and things like that. So it's a very like organized political like group of community that's been fighting all this crap for like 30 or 40 years.
Wow.
So it's an interesting story.
Do you think, in your opinion, this is just a question you might not be able to answer, but do you think that they are better off because they're in Puerto Rico, or do you think something like that would fly here?
Yeah. So the situation in Puerto Rico is terrible. Because for decades the U.S. has treated the country as an economic experiment, basically using it to draw in like industry through tax breaks. So it's like a tax haven.
Oh man.
And there's other like, so basically like that. Those decades long like experiments basically of using and abusing the economy of Puerto Rico has led to the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico to be completely bankrupt as we speak. They have like 7 billion in debt or something, and they're like under monitor of the United States government. And that's why like 6 of the 8 schools in this community of Caño Martín Peña have been closed down. And this was happening before Hurricane Maria.
Okay, yeah, that's
So
right.
there's a long background story to like why the situation in Puerto Rico is so dire, and why like millions of, not millions, hundreds of thousands of people have left the country in the last like 10 to 15 years. So anyways, there's a long history. It's really important to know for people out there interested in this topic. But also, what I was getting to is, you were asking, is it easier there than here?
Well, because we're some trillions of dollars in debt, so I don't.
Yeah, but it's a different situation, because whereas like, I don't know, imagine Puerto Rico as like a city that doesn't have the money to keep schools open, right? Like, I feel like the nation of the US is in debt.
So no one's loaning them the money to keep the schools open, essentially.
Well, they're not. Yeah, because they don't want to go into deeper debt, when really what should happen is like all that debt should be erased, and the country should be uplifted. It's not a country, it's a colony, but the colony should be like uplifted either independently as Puerto Rico, or as a state of the United States, where resources actually get funneled there. I mean, I don't know if you remember the situation, Hurricane Maria, but it was basically treated as not as a territory of the US. I mean, if you compare it to the relief that went, to Houston that year, it was drastic, and people had their lights off for months and months, and relief was happening on the ground by neighbors instead of by FEMA in those first weeks. So it's a long, terrible story.
Yeah.
But I think what is impressive about this case is that the community is it's a community that comes from like a background of being like informal settlers, like people who show up and just build their homes out of like whatever they can find, and tightly networked neighbors, and like multi generational. So like the elders teaching the next generations how to carry all these projects forward, and like for all of those reasons, like it makes it a strong, unique case. People are deeply invested in their community. They have a lot of shared values and love and pride in their community, and so that makes it work. And I'll find out more. I haven't done the full research yet.
Yeah, I mean, I would argue that in a lot of ways they're probably better off than a lot of us, and not in the material world, but
right.
I would say, because I mean, we're so far removed now, generations and generations removed from the agrarian lifestyle of our forefathers, and I don't know. That's why I asked the skill question, right? Because it's like,
right.
I'm thinking about trying to learn some gardening skills,
right.
And that, like, for whatever that's worth. But I don't know. It's just very interesting that you're focusing in on this group of people down there.
Yeah. No, like you said, like they're very much materially disadvantaged, but they're very much socially and spiritually advantaged, because they have a strong understanding of collectivity. They know how to organize and educate laterally, right, without the dependence on the government, because they've been forced to do that. Basically,
and that's huge, right?
Yeah, because
that's a huge advantage.
Yeah, like when Hurricane Maria happened and the neighborhoods were completely destroyed and there was no help in sight. I believe in that first like 5 days they were able to mobilize 1,000 volunteers.
Wow.
Yeah. So like, and like people going door to door, people like triaging like the folks who were in highest need, like the elderly or the sick who needed medication, who needs tarps, and prioritizing those based on need, and getting the work done, without the help of any government, literally.
Yeah, I mean, I for one am very interested in seeing where your research goes, and Man, I support the documentary idea, man.
Yeah. So that was the skill question, right?
Well, and I think, because I think I think by going down there, you're gonna find. I think the documentary is gonna find you, which seems to be that's kind of. I mean, obviously you got to prepare and stuff, but it seems like that's what happens. You know, if you're there for one reason and you're shooting all this footage, and then you realize, oh man, I got this whole other thing, all this gold that I didn't even know.
Yeah, no, that's like how some of the best documentaries happen, right? They're just like they're on one path, and then all of something crazy happens, and they're just like down this rabbit hole. And
exactly.
That's awesome.
So okay, all right, I got another one here for you.
Okay.
This is this again. It's awesome you're on here. These bonus questions are, I think you're gonna have some good answers. No pressure. All right.
I feel zero pressure.
Good.
By the way.
That's what I'm working. I'm working on my my pressuring skills.
It's so chill today. It's raining in Albuquerque.
Is it really?
Like, yeah, it's like feels like the Pacific Northwest outside. It's very
awesome.
Strange.
Yeah, it's I gotta say, I do miss the rain here. It doesn't rain enough in Boise for me.
Yeah.
But, what are you gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So if you were living in a tribe community, tribe/community, whatever the case may be, what would you offer the tribe?
Tribe, like just a group of people.
Well, I say tribe community, like you're
people.
I mean, you're trying to drill down because
like tribe, like I've got 12 little like offspring running around, or like
no, like
or tribe, like hippies, like feral hippies in the Olympic forests that like
all right. Okay, well, how about this?
No, I'm sorry.
Let's say you were in that community down in Puerto Rico. You're a part of that community.
Okay.
Sure. What would you offer that tribe?
Yeah, good question. I think I would, it's kind of like, I don't know, anywhere like you show up and you're like new to a community. I would want to offer my skills as a musician and like get people together around music and singing and things like that. And I would offer my skills as a co-op organizer and developer, because I'm passionate about that. And like, it's a skill that I think can really help people to like figure out how to make decisions and like understand why they're working as a team versus as individually, and support like equality and decision making and things like that. Yeah.
Awesome.
Those kinds of things.
Yeah. Perfect. What key components would you expect the other members to contribute?
Yeah, I guess whatever people authentically like want to bring to the table as their like true skill set. Excuse me.
Yeah.
I think it's important to like, when you're working in a community, kind of like do an inventory of like what other people are bringing to the table from their own like background. So you could call that like asset mapping or like asset interviewing, where you're getting to know each member on kind of like a personal level to be like, okay, where did you come from and what did you learn and how have you worked in the practical world? And oh, you're an art teacher, like that's gonna be great for our youth program, because I think in communities, some people assume they don't have anything to offer. They're like, oh, well, I've never been a treasurer, so I can't be the treasurer of the board. Oh, but like you've done fundraising, or you take kids on hikes. It's, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
everybody has things they can offer a community. And it doesn't have to be like knowing how to do the finances. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like I'd be the president. Yeah. Okay. Come on, buddy.
Yeah. No,
What do
you
you
can't
really
be
do?
the president.
What do you really? Yeah.
There
You're the
is no
last in
president.
line, or whatever.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I hate that word president, actually. Like, I remember when I was working at the co-ops, I was like, you can call the chair the president, or you can just call them the chair. Because when they called themselves president, it was like, all right, I'm the president. And it's like, no. You have an equal vote to the secretary.
Yeah.
So get off your president seat because you're the chair. You're the chair, just like a chair. That's what you do. You just sit there and you be a space for people to sit on instead. You know what I mean? Like language matters.
It really does. And it's
president.
Man, that's a all right. President. So all right, here's the kind of the think outside the box, but I think you're gonna have a good answer for this. All
okay.
Right. If the system that we are all dependent on crashes tomorrow or collapses tomorrow, what would be the first thing that you would do?
If it collapses, like how would it collapse? Like there's like a war or something, like the stock market falls, the next housing crisis.
Yeah, but maybe even more than that. Maybe
what's
even
going
more
on around me.
Yeah, see,
more than that.
You're very analytical. You got to have like paint the picture for me, right? Geez. All right. Well, the system, right? Let's see.
Because there's about to be
economic system, the
housing.
There's housing. But it's all tied to. Our. So we'll just say the economic system because that, and then sure. in a domino effect, the electricity goes out, the water's not running.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like,
I think I have an answer.
So here's another one. The solar flare idea, where it just shuts everything out, or whatever the case. But I think you already know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, I do. Yeah. I'm just like, I'm picturing so many things happening right now in my head. I'm picturing like tons of people are homeless. I'm picturing like people are breaking out of jail. I'm picturing like rich people are being like chased down and like potentially killed. I'm just picturing like, politicians hiding in their bunkers, billionaires like taking off in their spaceships to escape the mobs. You know what I mean? It's kind of fun to imagine, actually. So anyways, I think I would definitely organize or participate in some kind of general assembly, right? I think that like neighborhoods are going to need to get together in common areas and start figuring out how to make decisions and work together to take care of each other. And so, general assemblies that are based on, some kind of agreed way of communicating, making decisions, allocating resources, setting up systems of mutual aid, kind of like Occupy Wall Street was, right? Like, and a lot of the Occupy Wall Street, do you remember, did you go to any of those?
I didn't go to any of them. I'm not a, I don't know what I was doing. I was probably high somewhere.
Yeah, well, I was high at Occupy Olympia.
But I'm just, I guess I'm saying, strike that from the record. No, I don't know, man. I'd even like, I think maybe I got invited to what was the thing that happened in Seattle where they like was that a World Trade Center or something or other?
Oh, WTO in 1999.
Yeah, I mean,
I was a kid watching that on TV.
Yeah, I don't know if is it 1999?
Well, WTO was 99.
Was it really?
Yeah.
We weren't kids. Ago. I guess we were kind of.
I was. My mom was like, "Don't go to Seattle."
Yeah.
Battle of Seattle.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's funny. But you know, I don't know. I'm skeptical on whether or not protests work.
But Occupy wasn't a protest. It was, but it was like a lot more than a protest, because again, people were organizing at these basically general assemblies.
Yeah. Okay.
So they were coming together to imagine a future built for the people, by the people, meaning like the people, like the working class and the poor. And what was impressive about Occupy was that like people were making decisions in a democratic way, and they were doing it in public spaces, so in like the commons. And it was kind of taking back democracy in a way.
So, you know what I mean? So what happened? I mean, do you think that it just got infiltrated and then it kind of lost
I think it's just simmered out. I think people just like died down. I think, well, obviously too, they got shut down by like the militarized police state. And that was always going to happen. And I mean, I saw it from mostly my perspective in Olympia, where the police came in like armed to the T with, you know, riot gear and militarized things, and there was a standoff, and I think that happened in like a lot of cities. And what was interesting about the case in Olympia was that it turned into not just a hub for democratic decision making amongst regular people. It became a service site for houseless people and people with mental illness stuff. And tents were donated, and it turned into a camp for people who needed a place to live. And families were living there. Families with kids who didn't have anywhere to live were living there over some of the other options in town, you know, where there were other, you know, barriers or problems.
Sure.
And so, I mean, the system doesn't support those kinds of informal social services, certainly not on state capitol property, which is where Occupy Olympia was. And so, of course,
that might have had something to do with why they brought everybody in and was like,
they sent us there, though. It started in one park, and they were like, could you move over to that park? And there was this so really that
eventually we can get rid of you.
Yeah, they were like, there's less flooding and mud over there. And there was this really awkward interaction between like a group of like louder Occupy organizers and the police, and there were like negotiations going on. And meanwhile, people were like, fuck the police, don't talk to those pigs. And then there was like, and then there was like a negotiation that happened, and like a vote, and the camp moved.
Oh, really?
Yeah, probably so they could do more surveillance.
Can you tell Miles? This is Audrey. Can you tell Miles? Can you tell Miles what song you like from his album? You remember the album? What song is it that you like?
Well,
don't tell me. In the ear. Tell it right here.
What is it? Tell me.
Tell him. Maybe he'll play it. Maybe he'll play it.
Please. I'm scared.
I know you're scared. She's scared.
I know. Me too. I'm scared too. We're all scared.
Here's my questions, my bonus questions.
Yeah, I mean, she walked in on like a very scary conversation about like,
answers, man. I want answers. Come on. It's Maria. She likes Maria. She likes that song.
I like that song too.
He actually starts singing it. I think you told me. Did you tell me that was actually was that an autobiographical song? Or
yeah, kind of. I'm Maria. Can you tell? I'm Maria.
I didn't mean that. I mean,
I think no.
And the set goes.
No, what's funny is like some of those songs that I wrote, I don't know what they're about until I like self-analyze them, or like, think about them like in a therapeutic way. And then I'm like, oh shit, that song's about me. Or like that's a song about my ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
But it's actually about me because,
Well, that's it's funny because
it is kind of about me.
I've started doing some spiritual stuff and I'm reading some literature and stuff like that. And like I've been meditating on my heart. And so I've been doing some meditation and some cleaning, like you're saying, and following the system. Hey, honey, we're still doing this. We're still talking. Okay. You want to sit? You can, but don't play with the mouse, please. And patience is part of it.
Patience is big. Yeah.
And I don't know why I brought that up.
Yeah.
There was a reason.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a time for to look inside and try to connect. There's so much, and you never know what's what really. And it's like people lying all the time, and it's like, oh, it's par for course. I'm just hearing lies, but then there's some truth in there somewhere. It's like, what's the truth? And
it's messy.
Just trying to be a father, just trying to be a husband and friend. And
you have a lot of responsibilities.
There's but then at the same time thinking about, okay, and even more maybe now, with the kids and the family and the it's like, look, just saying, okay, well, not to be a prepper or whatever, right? Because I think there's problems there,
right? But you are from Idaho, so what are you gonna do?
Well, not originally.
You live there.
Come on, originally I grew up in Kirkland, so it's like but yeah, I do live here, and it's beautiful. I mean, you wouldn't even recognize it really if you were, let's say you were here 5 years ago and didn't come back, maybe even 10 years ago, say 10 years ago, because 5 years ago. But even since I've been here, it's like so much, it's just suburb sprawl.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, man. Well, cool. Thanks for coming on the show with me.
For sure.
Coming to talk.
It's nice talking to you.
Yeah.
I hope to see you soon.
Yeah, dude, come up. Sorry, it didn't work last time.
Oh, no worries. I'll try to give you more notice. Like at least a week or two.
Yeah. Right on.
I'll be driving through soon.
Cool.
Next 6 months.
We'll go do some fly fishing.
That'll be amazing.
Thanks for joining us on AquaBrain TV. Make sure you subscribe. Check this video out. We think you'll like it. Until next time.